Chrissy Teigen smears Trump. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. People often talk about certain individuals, often celebrities, being thirsty for attention, thirsty for publicity. And more accurately, it is often the case that these individuals, which include celebrities, are actually thirsting for fuel because they are narcissists. Not everybody that seeks attention is a narcissist, of course not. Nevertheless, many of those that are habitual attention seekers, whether they're not famous or whether they're celebrity famous, do so because it's their narcissism causing them to seek a response from those around them that validates their existence, that props up who they are, that keeps the construct together, the fuel being the glue, that keeps all of those shards and fragments and pieces that they've acquired from other people intact so that they continue to survive and thrive. Probably one of the best examples of a narcissist that repeatedly thirsts for this fuel is Chrissy Teigen, the lady who is not sure how she should pronounce her surname. She habitually ensures that she appears in social media despite 24 hours earlier claiming that she wasn't going to be any longer on social media. That she tells us the minutiae of her life, along with matters which are best kept private, that she puts out there in pin-sharp crikey vision for the purposes of drawing a reaction because this provides her with fuel. As an unaware narcissist, she doesn't realise why she does this. Her narcissism persuades her that it's for a different reason altogether that she engages in this behaviour. But nevertheless, this is what she does. And she's at it again, with a proclamation that has been covered by Breitbart and their reporter David Ng. This report's rather entertaining because not only does it demonstrate Chrissy Teigen's necessity for the pursuit of fuel, it also shows what a dimwit she is with regard to the way that she goes about it. The report tells us Hollywood star Chrissy Teigen is afraid that former President Donald Trump will come after her if he retakes the White House in November, making her the latest left-wing figure to publicly express a fear of potential Trump retribution. Now, it might be the case that Donald Trump hasn't the slightest who Chrissy Teigen is. Possibly he is aware of her and just simply thinks that he might do well to stick her in the desert in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence by angling her face towards the skies to see if it can receive some radio signals. Alternatively, he may just think that she's a complete waste of space and he's got much more important things to do, such as making America great again. But it shows the self-absorption of Chrissy Teigen that she thinks that a potential presidential candidate has got one thing on his mind, and that's her. It is absolutely representative of the self-absorbed thinking of a narcissist to believe that the single most important thing that is occupying this potential president for a second term is coming after her. Chrissy Teigen said she is scared Trump still resents her for calling him a pussy-ass bitch. Nice. On social media several years ago. Use of social media to assert control, use of insult to provoke. It's also kind of scary because it's, oh, he's aware of me, Teigen said during an interview with the podcast On with Kara Swisher, according to a Deadline report. What could really happen because of that? We obviously know he's unhinged, smearing, but could it actually come after you in other ways? It's a weird feeling. Teigen's husband, John Legend, was also present for the interview, saying he is endorsing President Joe Biden's bid for re-election. We're going to be active. We're going to the White House on the way home from here, and we're going to support President Biden, Legend said. Teigen acknowledged her outspoken political activism, could hurt her consumer brands. When you're a name attached to your own thing, anything you say or do can affect the company or take it down for those who knows how long, she reportedly said. So, given the fact that you know this, do you not think that it would be a good idea to keep your gums from flapping, old moonface, and not continue to smear somebody who might become the most powerful person in the United States, if not the free world, by calling him unhinged and saying he's going to come after me? First of all, the likelihood of President Trump bothering himself with this low life is very low indeed. Whilst we know that Trump will settle scores with people, he's got much more important targets than this one. But Teigen's paranoia is driven by her narcissism to suggest you need to assert control over the audience. And one way of doing so would be to curry favour with those who are against Trump by smearing him, but also to try and make people feel sorry for you by saying, big bad orange man is going to get me. He is mad at me because I called him bad names. And because I'm such a goon, I'm going to continue to smear him and also potentially cause a problem for my brands by engaging in political activism. But I know I'm doing it, but I'm so dim-witted, I still talk about it, but still go ahead and do it. She explained, grocery stores aren't used to the world of celebrity partnerships. Paul Newman with his salad dressing isn't going to get in trouble anymore. But if they've been saturated with phone calls because I spoke up about healthcare or women's rights, it puts a lot of fear into them. Well, then you've got a choice, Chrissy Teigen. If you know this spooks stores and chains of them, either keep your mouth shut or recognise it's going to have an adverse impact and you've got to ride it out. Chrissy Teigen is the latest left-wing figure to publicly express fear that Trump will seek revenge on them. In March, Robert De Niro predicted that Trump will come looking for me if he wins in November. Former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe told CNN this month that people in the intelligence community are wondering if they should leave the country if Trump wins, with some expressing fear they are headed for jail. Many intelligence officials were implicated in the Russia collusion hoax. Others publicly lied about Hunter Biden's laptop, falsely claiming just prior to the 2020 election that the laptop story was Russian disinformation. Well, that's the report from Breitbart. And it highlights, once again, not only the idiocy of Chrissy Teigen, but the fact that her narcissism in pursuing the prime aims causes her to express her fears about Donald Trump coming after her, and then in the very same interview that she expresses that fear, she then perhaps gives him greater reason to come after her by calling him unhinged. That demonstrates the compartmentalization, once again, of the narcissism. Let's say the interview took place at, 1 p.m. So at 1 p.m. she starts off by saying, I'm worried that Trump's going to come after me. She says that because at that point in time, something needs to be done for the purposes of asserting control. Thus, the narcissism chooses pity play. Make people feel sorry for me as a consequence of the fact that Trump might come after me and he's a nasty person. Thus, the audience will be on side. Then, at 1:02 p.m., she makes reference to the fact that he's unhinged because at 1:02 p.m., her narcissism is not recalling what was said at 1 p.m., but is focused on asserting control over the audience in that particular moment, and she does so, trying to curry favour with the audience, those that are Democrat-leaning or anti-Trump, by suggesting that he's unhinged. As I've pointed out, if you are genuinely concerned about what he might do, you might do well not to talk about him and hope he doesn't notice you. But, of course, here she is, sticking her head above the parapet because she has to do so, because her narcissism demands that she puts herself in the public domain for the purposes of asserting control over the public and drawing fuel from them, notwithstanding the fact that it might just exacerbate the very problem that she's complaining about. And then continues to talk in a manner which could affect the residual benefit of her income, but she does so once again because of the necessity of needing to control through what she says and gaining fuel. So she's an excellent example of not only her thirst for this fuel, whereby she repeatedly appears in public telling us the slops of her delinquent mind, but also the way that aspects of her narcissism seek that control and fuel in the moment, but then go and cause a further problem, and also shows the contradictory nature, if you will, of what she's seeking to achieve, because she actually keeps shooting herself in the foot, all supporting the fact that what you're hearing about is a less evolved and lower narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.